we are going to speak about today is, let me just get my notes up 1 second, Pedro Porro. Because a very interesting development happened yesterday in the Pedro Porro saga. We brought to you yesterday at Real Madrid. We're interested in Pedro Porro, but it looks as though that interest could be ending as of yesterday, because we did get the here we go Denzel Dumfries to Real Madrid. Fabrizio Romano posted yesterday, so surely that ends Real Madrid's pursuit of Pedro Porro. So 1 down, 1 to go. We just need Man City to end their pursuit, and then we're good to go.
Any other right backs we can suggest for Man City to sign ahead of Pedro Porro? So delighted. It's obviously Denzel Dumfries is a very different right back to like what Trent is, and even to what Porro is. So I do wonder, Mourinho wants to go in maybe a different direction for right back. Maybe, I don't know, maybe the Porro links were a bit kind of premature, because Dumfries is, we know what he is. He's a very different right back to Porro. He's a flying like wing back almost, can be a winger, gets forward, gets in the box, uses pace, whereas Porro is a lot more measured, uses his passing ability, a lot more similar to Trent. So I kind of think it makes sense. Maybe they want 2 different options there. They can go in different directions. So I think that's obviously brilliant that they're not in for him. But it's all about, whether Man City really push hard. I wonder, who they play. Right now they're playing like Nunes, a right back, so they do need one. I'm trying to think of anyone who's more attainable. Maybe they can go for Matt Cash, someone like that.
Matt Cash.
He's had a great season.
He has had a great season. Is he Man City level?
Yeah, don't know. Yeah,
I don't know. It still does worry me, to be honest. I'm happy that the Real Madrid conversation is going to die now, but Man City, I am worried about. So look, we'll see what happens.
And they probably are probably willing to spend maybe a bit more than Madrid potentially.
Yeah, potentially.
Let's just hope we can ward them off. The only thing is, obviously, he's been there before and it didn't work out the first time. But we've seen players go back as well when things haven't worked out.
Yeah.
And they've had a second bite of the cherry. I hope Porro doesn't feel like he wants that, but he might do.
Yeah. Look, we'll have to wait and see. Long transfer window to go. With a World Cup in between as well, so something tells me this saga is not going to end anytime soon. Pedro Porro is obviously one of our players going to the World Cup as well. Next up, Agent Xavi doing his best work to get Savinho to Tottenham. So Xavi posted this on social media yesterday, which we'll have a look at in a second. There you go. There's the picture there. So what is he trying to tell us there? What is Xavi Simons trying to tell us? Very interesting timing, isn't it? Very interesting timing.
He's teasing us. The guy is teasing us for sure. I think he knows the rumours are hot. I think he's been talking to Savinho. He's probably heard things are moving, and he's decided to post that as a little hint, a little Easter egg for all us Tottenham fans to get all excited about. I don't think he's done this by accident. No chance. No chance he's done this by accident.
Not at all. SZY says, Xavi has been in Savinho's ear ever since the move failed last summer, by the way. This guy loves the club and wants to see us succeed so much. You must know this. Xavi seems very excited to partner with his old teammate Savinho at Tottenham. And I've got a funny feeling. I've got one of those funny feelings that we're going to get that Here We Go today. What's that one?
His agent's following Tottenham.
His agent's following Tottenham as well now?
Yeah, his agent's following Tottenham on Instagram. I think there's been a lot of following going on. I've seen, I think Porro he follows now. I think Savinho has started following some Spurs players. So things are, a lot of people monitor all this social media movement and all this kind of stuff. And there seems to be things happening. I, for one, am very excited. I think Savinho is going to be a really good signing for us if we can get over the line. I think the rumours of, when we first heard about this deal being resurrected and they were saying 60, I said I wouldn't do it for 60, but I'll probably do it for 45, between 45 and 50. And that's exactly what the rumours are now, that the deal was going to be between 45 and 50. So I think it's a pretty good price for, in this day and age, for a player of Savinho's quality. I think it gives us much more threat down both wings. I think, having 2 wingers who can cause threats for either fullback of the opposition, pinning them down, it's going to cause spaces in other positions as well. I think a lot is obviously not just about, I think we're looking at him not just because we think he's a brilliant winger who can get us goals and assists, of course, but I think tactically we want a dual threat on each wing of two players who can really go at their fullback. I think that's what De Zerbi really wants. So I think Savinho is kind of perfect for that, and I think he gives us real tactical flexibility as well. So for me, I'm really excited. I think it's a really exciting signing, and I can't wait to see him in a Spurs shirt. Let's just hope we get those three great words from Romano, and I think it'll be a good look. It'll be a third signing if we can get him confirmed, and it's been a pretty decent start to the summer.
Yeah, I'm expecting like announcements for Robertson and Senesi. I'm not sure if that's going to come when the window opens or whatever. The window doesn't open until the 15th of June. But I do think we're going to get the here we go from Savinho either today or tomorrow. But I've got a funny feeling it's going to come today. So let's wait and see. Let's wait and see. As soon as it comes, we will be reporting it for you guys. So let's wait and see what does happen on that front. Let's talk about Luka Vuskovic. There's been reports in the Croatian media. A publication called Sportsget Novosti says, we received information from a reliable source about what Luka Vuskovic has told his managers and Tottenham, I think he means his agents. He told them that he is now concentrating on the national team, that all talks and negotiations should be stopped immediately and postponed until after the World Cup. He does not want anything to distract him from his focus on Croatia and the World Cup. And when he returns from America, he will decide where he will play next. The option to continuing to play for Hamburg does not seem likely. The report went on to say, are there offers and interest from big clubs? There are. It is not just letters, that's true. He put them all on hold. Vuskovic is only 19-year-old. He has his first big competition ahead of him, which he's dreamed of, but it's clear that no one, not even him, can dictate everything. We often used to see players receive offers to make their heads spin before or during the World Cup. And that's just how some of our players were signed, talking about Croatian players. For example, even Rakitic of Barcelona in Brazil, that the young stopper wants to avoid that and return to club matters when he's done with the World Cup. He's made it clear to Tottenham and to the people that represent him. It remains to be seen whether this will be possible given the pressure of the market. But it's clear that Vuskovic, although young, thinks very maturely.
Yeah, and I think he's done that all his career, made very mature decisions and made decisions which a lot of players, a lot of the time, make the wrong decision. And he's gone on loan to clubs where he knows he's going to play, where he's always taken the next step every time. He came back to Tottenham. Maybe some other players in his position that summer under Thomas Frank would have been looking at the situation thinking, I backed myself. I'm going to, I think I can break into this team. I'm good enough. I'm showing how good I can be. But he took the decision, you know what, with those two players there, I just want to play every single week. I want guaranteed playing time. And it was a mature decision from him then. And I think he's clearly got a very good head on his shoulders, Luka Vuskovic. But it's very interesting when he says the bigger teams is their interest. When he says it's not just letters, which means maybe they're putting in offers already. Maybe there's actually offers on the table from them. And what are they saying to him? Are they saying, come here and you'll play? You'll play every week. And if we're not giving him those assurances, and he's getting those assurances from big teams, then that's a situation where, especially with his contract not being signed, and he's only on 10 grand a week at the moment, obviously we want him to sign a new one, which is going to really increase his wages. But if he's getting that increased wages and he's getting, let's say, Barca or another big team in his ear saying, look, you come here, we'll give you massive wages and you're going to play every week, then it gets a bit scary from that point of view. So it depends what we have in store for him. I think, again, he's 19. I don't think he's going to be in a rush to do anything. I think his priority, and I think it's right, and from what he says and what all the communication from him, his priority, whatever club he's at, is to play. That is his priority, clearly, his development, getting better. I don't think he thinks, I'm 19, I'm the best centre-back in the world, I should be at Barcelona right now starting. I don't think that's where his head's at. I think he just wants to play football week in, week out at a good level, keep improving his level and keep developing. That is what his concentration, that's what the indications to me tell me. So if Tottenham are telling him, you'll play, I think he'll stay. But if we're saying you'll go on loan but sign a new contract, maybe, but go on
what
loan
if these
somewhere.
big clubs are telling him he'll play?
The maybe. If they're telling him we'll play and if we're saying, look, we want to keep you, but we're not guaranteeing you for, like, you're going to have to battle for your spot and, we're going to bring in Van Hecker or something, then all of a sudden I think he might say, okay, maybe I'm better off somewhere else. If we're telling him maybe you'll go to like a really decent club on loan for one more year, and then you'll come back. I don't think, and you'll sign a big contract, which is going to guarantee you a much higher wage and a longer deal. I don't think necessarily he kicks up a fuss if we do that, but I think he only kicks up a fuss if he's not going to play. That's his.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that, but it does worry me that some of these clubs, because we've seen Barca. I know it's usually La Masia, but we've seen that they're not scared to put teenagers into their first team, and Luka Vuskovic is that good. So if they do stump up the money and they're in his ear saying, "All right, we're going to give you first team football as well," that worries me massively going into the summer. I just hope Spurs do everything that they could do to tie this guy down for the foreseeable future, because the guy's a generational talent. Like, if a club like Barcelona, look, this is all just hearsay at the moment, it's just conversation, but if a club like Barcelona are promising first team football, there is no reason why Spurs shouldn't be offering him first team football. There really isn't. So just get this guy tied down, man. We need him. We need him for the foreseeable future. So if it means bring him in as a starter next year, then bring him in as a starter next year, because he's that good. And if he's not that good next season, he'll become that good pretty soon. So just go with it.
I think he'll sign a deal. I'm not 100% sure he'll be in our first team next season. Whether he goes on loan or he is, I think there's a good chance he will be. But I think there's also a good chance he comes back, and we still think maybe one more year and then he comes back. But I'm pretty confident that we're not going to sell him this summer. I'm pretty confident of that. I don't think he's going to refuse to sign. As I say, I do think I don't think he's been making. I do think, honestly, it would be a rash decision to kick up a fuss and force a move to Barcelona at this stage of your career right now. I think he'd be getting ahead of himself a bit, in my opinion. I know you get big clubs in your ear, but nothing's guaranteed. Even if you move there, maybe you're not quite ready. All of a sudden, you're out in the cold, and when you thought you were ready, when you're not. I'm not saying that's not the case. I'm just hypothesizing. I don't think he's here to make a rash decision. I think forcing a move like that, where maybe it's not the best for his development, I don't think he's going to do that.
But he might not be convinced that staying at Tottenham is the best for his development, though. That's the thing.
But look at him now. Yeah, it's been brilliant for his development.
Yeah, on loan, it's been brilliant for his development. I'm talking about where
Tottenham.
he's going to be. I'm talking about that. Like, he's seen maybe teenagers come in, and I think Gray has come on leaps and bounds, but Bergval's taken a backward step in his development. The reality is that it's been a shit show at Tottenham. The whole thing has been a complete shit show. And if he's got a team like Barcelona, who is used to playing teenagers, used to having them in their first team and not scared to put them in, and they're saying to him, you'll come and start for us, you'll play a significant part of the season, I can see his head being turned.
The difference, I think, for me, is right now where Tottenham and Barca are at. Barca, if he comes in, and they need to be winning every game, they need to be winning the league. That's their standard. If Vuskovic isn't quite up to it immediately, he's out the team. He won't be picked. At Tottenham, right now, there will be some leeway because of where we are. And let's say we don't sign a centre-back and it's just him and Danso, if he makes a few mistakes or he's not 100% ready, but we're bedding him in, he'll be allowed that time and that leeway. He won't be allowed that at Barca, in my opinion. That's just he won't. I think he'll be allowed that game time to make that mistakes at Tottenham right now. If we've made the decision we're going to keep you, I think it's with the knowledge that he might need some time to probably acclimatise, but he'll be given that leeway. At Barca, there is no leeway. It's very much you're ready or you're not. And I don't. So that's why I'm saying I don't think it's the right decision to go to such a club like that right now at his age. In my opinion, it's too much of a risk. I think it's a rash decision. I think stay at Tottenham if they're guaranteeing you play time, sign a contract, and look, you're 19. You're not even in your 20s yet. There's plenty of time to move to Barca and these other teams.
Yeah, that's what I would say to him. But I'm biased and I want him to join.
I think it makes
play
sense.
for Tottenham.
I think it makes sense, and I think it's what he'll do.
I hope so, mate. I really hope so. But that is Luka Vuskovic not making any decision until the World Cup has finished. In terms of Marcus Rashford, apparently there has been a few kind of tentative links between Spurs and Marcus Rashford. And reports from the Manchester Evening News, Football London, a few other publications all saying that Marcus Rashford has reportedly no interest in joining Tottenham Hotspur or Newcastle this summer if a permanent move from Manchester United to Barcelona does not go ahead. He currently has a 26 million buy option for Barcelona, but they've just signed Anthony Gordon. So I don't know if that's going to happen or not. But yeah, apparently he's got no interest in joining Tottenham.
He says that now. I mean, I think it's easy to say that now when somebody's going to the World Cup. Maybe he thinks, if I have an amazing World Cup, there'll be more players interested in me. But a lot depends on what are Man United's plans. For him next season? If he's not in their plans, what other offers does he have on the table? If he's not going to, how many offers does he think he's going to get that are better than Tottenham? Maybe he thinks, if I'm not going Barca, I'm just going to stay and fight my place for Man United. Maybe he feels that way. But I think right now it's probably the right thing to say. I'm not interested if that's how he feels. But I think later in the window, I think he's going to find it hard to get a club he really wants. I think he might have to be a bit more open.
You know what? I don't really want players that are not interested to join my football club. That's the bottom line. Like, I think Rashford, what he wants to be playing in the Champions League.
Yeah.
That's why he joined Aston Villa. They were in the Champions League. That's why, Barcelona, obviously. So I think Rashford is obviously holding out for a Champions League club. And if he wants to join a club just for Champions League, then he's not going to want to join Tottenham, and I don't want him. Like, if he doesn't want to join Tottenham, then whatever. Like, it's not the end of the world. I would love to see Rashford at the club if he wanted to come here, but he doesn't. So that's it. There's nothing to say about that. We don't know how
true these reports are anyway.
Yeah, if this report is true.
If it's true, who knows? But obviously the transfer window moves very quickly. How many times have Tottenham been rejected by a player, then a few days later they come back and all of a sudden
a few years later.
Or a few days. We had recently with Tel, Xavi, Moani, all rejected Tottenham, and then a few days later they're a Tottenham player. So I'm just saying, obviously not all of them worked out, but maybe those are examples of players you don't want. But I'm just saying things move very quickly in football.
Did Xavi reject us?
Well, there was a lot of, not necessarily rejected us, but they were saying he was not interested in Tottenham and he's going to go Chelsea, and then Chelsea pulled out, and all of a sudden Tottenham became a viable option. That was initially he didn't want Tottenham, onto Chelsea. That's what everyone was saying. Tel rejected us. I know Moani rejected us.
Moani, yeah, and Tel, yeah. Tel wanted to go to Man United, but I don't remember ever Xavi rejecting us. Another report is about Bahoya of Eintracht Frankfurt. Team Talk, obviously not the most reliable, are saying that Tottenham have registered an interest in Jean-Matteo Bahoya, whose stock has grown rapidly since his switch from Angers to Frankfurt 2 years ago. Very tricky winger, Bahoya. I don't know if you remember when we played against them last year. He was quite good, wasn't he?
He was. I think he's grown quite well over the last couple of years. I mean, again, I wouldn't sign him and Savinho. If you're going to go if you really believe in one of these wingers, I don't think getting both of them makes sense. I think you can get one of them, and then you go for someone a bit more established. That's what I think. So if we're getting Savinho, I don't think Bahoya makes too much sense, in my opinion.
Well, you think they're too similar?
Yeah, I think they cover the similar roles, won't they?
We need a kind of running behind one now. If we're going to get these two dribbly ones that would probably be good against kind of like defences that sit deep, you want ones that if you play a high line you can get in behind them. And I guess who is that in our squad right now?
Yeah, I think you can maybe get Tel into that role, but he hasn't really done it too much. We probably need to sign someone who's very quick.
Because like a couple years back, like we were dynamite against teams that would press high up the pitch.
Now we can't counter. Yeah.
And now we can't do it. We don't have the counter-attacking players. We need them desperately, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's true.
And last but not least, not strictly Spurs related, but could be, is Dusan Vlahovic. Dimarzio saying that no economic agreement was reached between Vlahovic and Juventus. There'll be no further meetings. The striker and Juventus will part ways at the end of the season. So it is claimed that Juventus offered him a renewal deal of 6 million euros a year plus a 1 million bonus. Vlahovic has asked for 8 million euros a year plus a rich signing on bonus. So what that means is that he's asking for 150 grand a week, basically, which is
that it?
Yeah, which is not beyond all realms of possibility for Tottenham Hotspur. I think
Is he not more than that? I thought he was on.
He's on a hell of a lot more than that, but he knows he's not getting that anywhere. He's on
Right.
like 350 grand, but he's willing to settle on 150.
I see.
But Juventus are not willing to go up that high to renew. So I was thinking about this, and I was like, we should be going for that on a free transfer. Dusan Vlahovic, 150 grand a week. Like, I think even though it hasn't gone particularly well from at Juventus, but he's still kept up a good goal scoring record while he's there. I think he's a good, strong centre forward. I think he's probably better than what we've got. Knows where the back of the net is. I would seriously look at this if I was Tottenham.
Yeah, I would as well. I mean, I've been a bit cold on him previously, but the reality is that you're looking at the striker options right now, and you're not blessed with many that you're looking at thinking, yeah, this is 100% the guy that's going to get you 20, 30 goals. I'm not saying Vlahovic definitely is that guy, but maybe it's worth getting in him as a short-term option, seeing how he does. Maybe he could be that guy. If he isn't, he probably gets you 10 to 15 goals potentially. Maybe not something incredible, but something just good enough for now.
People are saying it's actually 150. He's talking about after tax.
That's 300 grand a week, pretty much.
Yeah, well, that would be way too much if that's true.
You'd be our top earner by a lot. Well, to be fair, we are increasing our wage structure.
I
I'm
would
not saying
I
to
would
300,
I would
but
offer him like 200 grand a week.
he's on 400. People are saying, and and now he wants.
Look, he ain't getting that money anywhere. I would offer him 200 grand a week, and I think he might take that.
I think because he's a free transfer, you probably offer him a bit more. Because if he's a striker who's potentially you believe could get you goals, I think you probably offer a bit more than that. You probably offer like 250 or something. And if we are intent on increasing our wage structure and we're committed to that, you've got a striker you think could come in and be your number one. That's not to be sniffed at. If you think this guy could get you 20 goals, you pay him 250 at least. If you think he's that good. So I think I would go up to that and maybe
Give him 200 and a heavy incentivized goal bonus.
Levy contract style. What if he wants 250? These are agents at the moment, and he knows he's a free transfer, and we're not paying a transfer fee. So where's that extra money going to? It's going to them. That's the reality. So I definitely think we should be looking at him. I think he's got a brilliant left foot. He's a very good finisher. Definitely the best finisher we would have. I get the feeling we'll probably look to upgrade him in the probably couple of years. So I don't think he's that guy, but as I've said, because there's a real dearth of strikers, just getting a striker in right now who could probably get you guarantee of a decent amount of goals before you're looking at the actual guy who might come to fruition in a year's time or 2 years' time is probably a good plan. You get Richarlison out, you get Vlahovic in, you have him and Solanke. I don't think that's bad at all. So I think that's. I'd be looking at him seriously. Yeah, I'd be looking at him seriously now because we're talking about Moise Kean. We're talking about who else are we talking about up front? Like we're not talking about strikers who. We haven't been linked with a strike, have we? Where we're like, yeah, that guy's going to get us 20, 30 goals. That guy's an absolute killer. That guy's brilliant. Whoever we get is going to be a bit of a risk.
Apparently, Moise Kean stacks up unbelievably on the data.
Yeah, but again, he still is. Data only tells you so much. It's still a risk. Vlahovic does get goals, so it's still a risk because it's Serie A, but he does get goals. So my point is, whoever we sign up front is going to be a bit of a risk. So it's all about taking the least amount of risk.
On the flip side of that, Richarlison gets goals as well.
Yeah, he does, but he's physically finished and he needs to be sold. I think Vlahovic doesn't. I think physically he's not like the best, but he's good. He's good. I think his main attribute is he's got just a brilliant left foot. He's got a fantastic left foot, and if you get him in front of goal, he will score.
Yeah.
So I think I'll definitely be very. We should be having a conversation with him.
Yeah, 100%. So I hope you're watching this, Tottenham, because go get us a striker. We need a good striker that can score some goals, and Vlahovic could definitely score goals. So let us know your thoughts on those situations in the comment section below. That is your Tottenham update for today, and we